that while I don't call myself a communist, I don't have an issue with an end goal of communism. I don't.
Up next, guys, we are going to react to a truly wild interview that the left-wing streaming and YouTube star Hasan Piker just did with the guys over at Triggernometry, which I'm a fan of. I think they do a great job. Francis and Konstantin, the two hosts over there, that podcast, he sat down with them. Hasan sat down with them, even though they are from a very different kind of ideological or political camp. And I give Hasan credit for that. But the interview did not go well for him. He seemed unprepared and out of touch with reality and made some pretty startling and stunning admissions. We're going to take a listen to this clip and I will offer my thoughts. Spoiler alert, I am not a fan of some of the statements that he made. But let's, without further ado, let you hear for yourselves.
Don't believe that anyone is coming into the United States of America or the UK, as a matter of fact, because they want to bring about a Salafist-style Islamic caliphate in London. I know you won't agree with me on this.
It's not about whether I agree. It's about whether the facts agree with you.
See, he kind of set himself up for failure here by saying, I don't think anyone is doing this. There wouldn't be an entire narrative about people concerned about Muslim immigration to Europe and other places if nobody was coming here with radical ideas or coming here and committing attacks or anything like that, or going there rather. And so I think he set himself up for the absolutely brutal fact check he's about to get hit with by making such an absolutist statement on something where I don't think the better answer would be like that. Listen, I follow American politics more closely. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but I believe in freedom of religion and I think refugees should be welcome or whatever. But like, don't make these absolutist claims. You are setting yourself up when you're talking to somebody who knows a lot about that issue to get kind of embarrassed. And that is what happened next.
I don't think that's the case.
Hold on.
I think ultimately,
let me just give you some facts then. If that we have a terrorist attack on a monthly basis by an Islamist, effectively, we just had 2 in the space of the last month as we're recording this. 33%, I think, of British Muslims want Sharia law in Britain, like according to polls.
Why is he laughing at that? Like, isn't it funny that 1/3 of Muslims want an authoritarian, theocratic legal system enforced onto all of society? No, that's actually not funny. Now, I don't think Hasan believes in Sharia law. Heck, he's like a leftist on social issues. But I guess maybe he just has a blind spot or he doesn't take that seriously. I don't know. But they're putting polling on screen here that shows very clearly some very illiberal and authoritarian sentiments among some of the Muslim population in Britain. That, of course, does not apply to all Muslims, and people should be judged as individuals. But he's acting like this is all just a right-wing hoax or something, and it's clearly not, and he's clearly also out of his depth on this issue.
More than half want to ban.
I haven't seen these polls.
Well, we can put them in for people to see. More than half want to ban homosexuality, right? So when you say people aren't coming in to introduce an Islamist stuff, well, some of them want to if they're in a position to do so. We have 5 MPs who are effectively elected on a sectarian ticket, like as in we are Muslims, vote for us because you're a Muslim.
Who would you say those MPs are?
The 5 independent MPs, they're called the Gaza MPs or whatever way you want to call them. Right?
Are you talking about like Zara Sultana?
I don't know if she's one of them. I think one of them is called Adnan Hussein. There's 5 of them. We can look them up. We can put them in for people to see. Right. So I think it should be said that the overwhelming majority of British Muslims don't want Sharia law. But if 33% of them do, you can see why a lot of people who don't want Sharia law might be concerned about that, right?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, of course people should be concerned by that. And it's not even about the religion of the immigrants. It's the attitudes. I've always thought that while I'm somebody who's generally supportive of legal immigration, you do have to make sure that people have compatible values with your civilization and believe in things like freedom of religion and freedom of speech and that they want to assimilate. And America has, generally speaking, done a better job of that, but they've really struggled with that in much of Europe. But I feel like Hasan just feels like he can't say that because acknowledging any truth to like a right-wing narrative about this issue is like Islamophobia or is not, progressive and welcoming and I stand with immigrants. And you can kind of see him just glitching in real time because he's being presented with these facts that he would not encounter in his usual echo chamber. And I really actually do give him credit for doing these interviews because he doesn't really have to. Like he if anything, would probably be doing fine just not doing it. But he does put himself out there, and sunlight can be the best disinfectant. And it was a very sunny shot that day. So yeah, maybe that's what's happening here. He's being disinfected by the sunlight. And people can see that he actually doesn't know very much and is very overconfident and seems to think he has the whole world figured out while actually not grappling with a lot of the nuances and complexities that, gasp, some conservatives and some right-wing arguments might have some truth to them sometimes. Now, he tries to play a little bit of whataboutism next. Let's listen.
I don't know what, I haven't seen these polls, and I also don't know what British Muslims, or the 33% that are saying they want Sharia law, like what they're talking about. The counterexample always is, I mean, there's plenty of right-wing forces in the country that also want to ban homosexuality.
So there's a couple problems with this. One, he's kind of playing dumb when he says, I don't know what they mean by Sharia law. I think Muslims who are asked about Sharia law do know what that is. And if they're saying they support it, probably have a pretty good idea what that means. And it does mean theocracy. It does mean repression. And it is, of course, incompatible with Western civilization or liberal democracy. You know, things that I guess... I don't know if Hasan, as you'll see, if he really even believes in those values, but he sometimes would pretend to, I guess. And then to compare it to Christians, like, one, there is a difference between immigrants who are coming into a country, which is what Konstantin originally raised, and people who are already there because they have a right to be there because they're citizens, whereas immigrants, you do get to select whether to allow them in or not. So it's kind of a disingenuous comparison to begin with. But then also it's not. No, I'm sorry. The attitudes of Muslim immigrants are different from those of domestic Christians on many of these issues. And it is not a reasonable comparison or apples to apples. I don't believe that a significant, anywhere near the same percentages of Christians in America or in England would say that they want to deprive women of rights in society or make homosexuality illegal or any of these things at the same rates as, again, not all, not even necessarily most, but a significant portion of the Muslim populations there. And these are just realities that you have to grapple with. And just saying, no, I haven't seen it. I don't even know what they mean. It's like denial is not a strategy, dude. But he is going in on it.
Or trans people in general, right?
No one wants to ban trans people in Britain. No.
Okay, well, that's not what I have seen so far, but maybe I'm wrong on this.
What do you mean?
But I feel like there's a lot of this is a point of contention for you guys as well. But it's like when you want to ban trans people altogether.
He keeps saying that. I don't know, what does that even mean? Ban trans people altogether. If I can't change my sex on my passport to something it's not, are trans people banned? Maybe he explains.
Together, when you want to remove access to medication.
Oh, okay. Well, if what he means is medically transitioning, I don't think the mainstream perspective, even among gender critical types or people who are pushing back on the trans movement in America or the UK, is that people shouldn't be allowed to take cross-sex hormones or alter their bodies. I think there's a couple. The questions are about what spaces people can access and about sex segregated spaces. And then the other question is whether insurance should cover it or taxpayers should cover it. But I'm not really aware of a significant push to stop people from purchasing with their own money hormones and taking them. Adults, that is. Of course, minors is a totally different issue. So it does kind of seem like he is invoking a straw man here, again, to try to downplay or deflect Konstantin's original points about Islamic immigration.
For trans people to transition and conform their own gender identity, you don't start off by saying we want to altogether ban trans people. You start off by trying to find the most successful approach that the broadest majority of the masses would be in tune with, would be in agreement with, and then you slowly but surely expand on it.
Wouldn't that be like me saying wouldn't that be like me saying, well, you say you want socialism, but actually you're a communist because you just want to edge your way towards communism step by step?
I mean,
that seems like an unfair way of looking at it.
No, my retort to that would be that while I don't call myself a communist, I don't have an issue with an end goal of communism. I don't think it's like I just think that it's probably not likely to happen, a stateless, moneyless, borderless society. But moving towards that end goal, I don't have any real...
You'd like communism in America?
I think that communism would be most likely an international thing. It'd be like the Star Trek universe. And it feels, especially at this point, it feels far too utopian to achieve. So while I think that the concept in and of itself is not one that I disagree with, and I don't think you would either. Don't you think it would be nicer?
I grew up in a communist country.
Yeah, we would.
Disagree with the concept of communism.
The USSR was, as you know as well, trying to implement communism. They never actually were able to successfully implement communism.
Guys, he actually hit us with well, real communism hasn't been tried. Yeah, well, you could say the same thing, that pure free market capitalism hasn't been tried either. But communism in practice versus liberal democracy, free societies, capitalism in practice, I think I know which one I prefer. But more importantly, I do find it remarkable how the Triggernometry guys, they're not like the harshest interrupters, most hostile interviewers, but they just give people enough rope and let them talk themselves and expose themselves. And Hasan really did that right here by saying that I'd be down for communism. I just like socialism because communism maybe is a little utopian, but yeah, I like communism. That should be a disqualifying statement. That should be viewed with an equal level of disgust and disdain as somebody saying, I love Nazism, because arguably communism is responsible for more deaths than the Nazis, and it is just as evil and a totalitarian ideology. But here you have one of the most prominent left-wing influencers in America saying he's totally down with it, and he is influencing with his platform millions of young people all the time to support those kinds of ideas, or even just normalize them, even just remove the stigma from them, because somebody who they think is chill and funny and cool likes communism, so it can't be that bad. Yeah, that's actually incredibly toxic and dangerous. But unfortunately, that kind of is in keeping with all of Hasan Piker's career, advocacy, and rhetoric. But other than that, he's doing absolutely amazing. I would really encourage you guys to go check out the full Triggernometry episode with Hasan Piker. And if your kids or if you tune into him, make sure you are doing so with a healthy dose of skepticism for everything that he says, because he comes from a radical place and doesn't know a whole lot. That's my take, at least. But you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and all of that, or yada, 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 as I often say.